Heading into the 2007 Cricket World Cup, Australia were in some mixed form. They did win the Champions Trophy in the fall of 2006. However, they didn't win a tri-series they hosted, including New Zealand and England. That series was in January of 2007, and they were also whitewashed by New Zealand in February of 2007. The feeling by many at the time was that Australia were not favourites for this World Cup. These feelings may have been misguided though, as many key players did not play those series for Australia. As for the squad, Australia were dealt a massive blow as Brett Lee would miss out on the tournament due to an injury. Shaun Tait would be his replacement. Other new additions to the squad would be Michael Clarke, Nathan Bracken, Michael Hussey, and Shane Watson. Australia would be led by Ricky Ponting again, and veterans like Matthew Hayden, Adam Gilchrist, and Glenn McGrath would be a part of the squad. Australia would win their first two group matches comprehensively. These matches were against Scotland and the Netherlands. In both matches, Australia would score over 300 runs and bowl out the opposition for less than 150. This was already enough for them to qualify for the Super 8 stage of the World Cup. In their final group stage match, they would defeat South Africa. Australia would score a massive 377 for 6 due to a century from Matthew Hayden, as well as 90s from Michael Clarke and Ricky Ponting. In the chase, South Africa actually started pretty well. The openers, Graeme Smith and A.B. de Villiers, had South Africa at 160 after 21 overs, before A.B. de Villiers was run out. From there, South Africa were not really able to form a single stable partnership, and the target would prove to be too large, as South Africa were bowled out for 294. So, Australia again finished the group stage undefeated, although this one was only 3 matches. They would carry through the result against South Africa into the Super 6 stage. The domination continued in the Super 8 stage though. Their first match was against the West Indies. Matthew Hayden would score 158 runs, which would propel Australia to 322 for 6. All the Australian bowlers chipped in to bowl the West Indies out for just 219. Next up was a rain-shortened match against Bangladesh. Bangladesh could only manage 104 for 6 in the now 22-over innings. Australia would chase down this target in just 14 overs, without losing a single wicket. Their next match was against rival England. Bracken, Tait, and McGrath would take 3 wickets each, limiting England's scoring opportunities. However, a century from Kevin Peterson would still take them to 247 all out. A 50 from Michael Clarke, as well as smaller contributions from other batsmen, would ensure that Australia won the match comfortably, chasing it down by 7 wickets with a couple of overs to spare.
Fantastic stroke. Clarke goes over the top, he goes well.
There it is. Well, that will do it.
In their next game, McGrath and Tait would destroy Ireland's batting order, allowing them to score only 91 runs before they were all out. Again, Australia chased down the target with ease, winning by 9 wickets. With 4 wins in 4 Super 8 games, Australia found themselves on 10 points, was already enough for them to qualify for the semi-finals. Their next match was against Sri Lanka. Again, Bracken, Tait, and McGrath would take care of the opposition's batting lineup. Bracken would be the best of the 3, taking 4 for 19 in his 10 overs. Sri Lanka were bowled out for just 226. 50s from Ponting and Simons would secure a 7-wicket win for Australia.
Ponting finishes the game with a massive 6.
In their final Super 8 game, Australia would destroy New Zealand. Matthew Hayden scored yet another century, and 50s from Ponting and Watson would take Australia to a massive 348 for 6. Brad Hogg would be the best of the Australian bowlers, taking 4 wickets, while Australia would bowl out New Zealand for just 133, winning the match by 225 runs. Undefeated in the tournament so far, Australia would take on South Africa in the semi-final. Yet again, the trio of Bracken, Tait, and McGrath would make easy work of the opposition's batting order. Shaun Tait was the best of the 3, taking 4 for 39. This as South Africa were bowled out for just 149. Michael Clarke would guide Australia's chase, scoring 60 not out, ensuring they qualified for a 4th consecutive World Cup final, with a chance to secure a hat-trick of World Cups.
Andrew Symonds wins it for Australia. 28 matches unbeaten in World Cup cricket, and a 3rd consecutive chance of the World Cup trophy.
This time around, the final was against Sri Lanka, the same team who denied them 11 years prior to start this whole journey. The match would be shortened to 38 overs from the start due to rain. Adam Gilchrist would score a brutal 149 runs off just 104 deliveries. Cameos from Ponting and Simons would take Australia to 281 for 4 in just 38 overs. Nathan Bracken would strike early, then Sanath Jayasuriya and Kumar Sangakkara would put on a promising 116-run partnership in 18 overs. Brad Hogg would break the partnership, and from here, Australia would keep chipping away with wickets. In the end, Australia could only manage 215 for 8 in 36 overs when the game came to an end, after playing in complete darkness, a fiasco which I covered in detail in its own video. Regardless, Australia had won the match by 53 runs on Duckworth Lewis, and lifted their 3rd consecutive World Cup.
And that finally is that. Australia have won the World Cup of 2007.
Australia won the 1999 World Cup, having their backs against the wall midway through the tournament, facing elimination. While Australia did win the 2003 World Cup undefeated, there were times where they were in serious trouble, with some close finishes. This 2007 World Cup victory, though, was about as comprehensive as any team could ever ask for. At no point during the tournament did Australia ever look like they were going to lose a match. Australia's complete domination of this World Cup is one of the reasons that it's not remembered that fondly. Australia destroying every opponent kind of made the World Cup boring in a sense. Matthew Hayden was the highest run scorer for Australia, with 659 runs. Ricky Ponting would follow in second place for Australia, with 539 runs. Glenn McGrath was the leading wicket taker, with 26 wickets, and Sean Tate proved to be a good replacement for Brett Lee, as he took 23 wickets in the tournament. That was how Australia won the 2007 Cricket World Cup.